Hey guys, what's up? It's Snake here. It looks like we're hanging out in Nazi Germany, circa September 1945, which can of course only mean one thing. We're hanging out in Verruckt, killing some zombies. And today we're going to be talking about some hidden sound bites and a hidden song. This is actually going to be the last video where I combine both the sound bites or radio clips with the hidden song, because after this, we'll hit Shinanuma and things are going to get a little bit more complicated. The sound bites are actually going to be hidden messages that we're supposed to use to sort of figure out parts of the story. So it's going to get a little bit more complicated, and there'll be a lot more stuff to talk about within those sound bites. So we'll separate that from the songs, which we'll watch or we'll talk about by themselves. But for this one, we're just going to go ahead and throw the sound bites in together because there's not a whole lot to talk directly about them. They're more made for ambiance and to sort of give you that creepy feeling that something's right behind you, just like a good horror movie. Of course, to start out, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about this dentist's chair that you see right before me, or you saw right before me a second ago. And as you saw, I started out by running up to it, and what I did was I hit the action or reload button 3 times in a row. And of course, on the PlayStation, that's square, as you can see me rebuilding the bars, or not rebuilding the bars, I forget what I do, or by using the X button on the Xbox. And of course you hit it 3 times and you're going to hear the drill and then some screams, which obviously does kind of creep you out, and it also kind of hints at a connection to Joseph Mengele, who was the famous dentist from Auschwitz. He ran Auschwitz, and of course he ran a couple of crazy pseudoscientific experiments on a lot of the inmates. Most people just called it torture, but he called it science. And obviously he was also portrayed, or he was an inspiration for the betrayal of Dr. Christian Schezel. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he of course is Laurence Olivier in the movie Marathon Man, also starring Dustin Hoffman, which is a great film. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. But we're getting off track. Obviously, Joseph Mengele was a pretty messed up kind of guy, and the hint is that they're also doing the same kind of creepy, seriously messed up experiments here in this insane asylum. Now, this is the Juggernog side, and of course if you played Verruckt before, you know that there's 2 starting sides. The other starting side, of course, having quick revive. And of course on that side you also have a mirrored room to the dentist chair, and in that room is the morgue, so you see the whole wall with the doors on the side where you can stick cadavers in. And there's a door that's ripped off on the bottom level, and if you crouch by it and listen to it, there's screams coming from inside there as well. Again, just to kind of creep you out and add that sort of weird horror movie feeling to it. There's a couple other places throughout the map. Most of them are upstairs. That all kind of do the same thing. As you run through a certain area or you run past a certain thing, you'll hear the sound bite pop up. And again, it's just to add to that whole you're inside of a zombie movie kind of feel. And I like it a lot. It's definitely the creepiest map out of all the maps for zombies. It has to be the creepiest one, all because of the sound effects that they put in it. So kudos to Treyarch for that. There is one more soundbite that we're going to talk about, but we're going to go ahead and put it at the end of. We'll talk about it real quick now, but we're gonna show you where it is at the end of the video, because it's on the other side of the map, and it would have taken too long to start with that and then work our way around to the toilets. But it's actually just a little radio, kind of like in Knocked Untoten, where you have to either knife it or shoot it in order for it to play pieces of sound clips from the campaign. So they do the same kind of thing in here, again keeping our eye out for radios, sort of training us to learn where the Easter eggs are for when the rest of the maps like Shinanuma and Derice all come out, so we know what to be looking for and how to find out where they're eventually going to hide parts of the storyline. But we're going to show you where that is. Again, like I said, it's on the other side in the room that's upstairs from the mule kick room. But we're going to talk about the song first, because we're here in the toilets, in the latrines, and as you can see there's the toilet right there, the first one out of 3. And you want to go up to it and hit the reload button again 3 times. You'll hear a flush after each time, and then after the 3rd time the music's going to start up, and we're going to hear Lullaby for a Dead Man. Of course, it's always important to make sure that the volume is turned up, so if you don't have the volume turned up, take a second and go ahead and put the volume up. I actually normally have it about halfway down or all the way down, because a lot of times when I'll play, people like to hit the song, and some of them, especially like the screamo songs, I just find distracting, honestly, when I'm trying to fight zombies. But this one's actually a lot of fun to play with, a lot of fun to listen to while you're killing zombies. Like I said before, this is Lullaby for a Dead Man, and if you've been paying attention, it is also the song that we hear at the end of Nacht und Toten when you die, and the credits are rolling and it shows you your score. This is going to be the song you hear, and of course this is we're going to hear this at every time a map comes to the end. We'll hear the song that's going to be the hidden song in the next map. Which again is of course why when we get to Moon there is no hidden song afterwards, because it's the end of that season, so to speak, or that section of the story. And we'll just pick up again whenever the new map comes out this November. But to get down to this map, we'll start out with the girl who's singing. Now in real life her name is going to be Elena Siegman, and she's a really good singer. Obviously, just from knowing even a little bit about what's going on in the storyline with zombies, you will have guessed that she is supposed to be Sam, or not actually Sam, but some part of Sam, some part of her subconscious. Now that she's become the mind of the zombies. And of course, if we even look at, as soon as you hear the first couple of words of the song, you realize that this is the case. She starts out with, "Life is still spinning, your end my beginning. And everything I hoped for has been strangely set aside. Breathing for living, my mind is forgiving, and destiny is proving to be absent from my life." So obviously she's talking about how her transition from being a real little girl and now becoming the mind of the zombies is taking place. Things are all crazy, and then again, Lullaby for a Dead Man, she's singing this to one of several people, maybe even possibly all of them, because it's a song and you can be pretty metaphorical and you can be talking about multiple things at the same time that all kind of makes sense. But she could easily be singing to the people who or whom, so I don't know which one. But the dead men she's raising up from the dead and turning into zombies, because obviously their end is her beginning. The fact that they are dead give her life to come into the map, and as she resurrects the dead to start her onslaught against our four characters. And of course, everything I hope for has been strangely set aside. All little kids care about are ice cream and puppy dogs and things like that. I guess I haven't been a kid in a while, but I assume those things are still pretty popular to children. But of course now she's the mind of the zombies, so she has a whole new set of things that she has to be concerned with and to care about. And so all of the things she hoped for have obviously been set aside. And the destiny is proving to be absent from her life. Now she's disconnected from life. She has no reason for living anymore. She is the reason for the zombies to be alive. So obviously she's trying to deal with all this crazy stuff. I know it, I feel it, I know when you're sleeping, I know the things you're dreaming, and I know you will never give up and die. So again, we see this hint that someone's asleep and someone's dreaming, and that all of this could possibly be a dream. So again, now maybe she's singing to someone else. So we got the dead people that she's turning into zombies, and she's got very possibly the person who this whole universe is being centered around, the person who's dreaming up all of this, whoever it may be. And of course, obviously, we talked before about how I'm going to do a video directly picking apart the idea of this dream theory. And I promise plenty of times it's coming, and it definitely is coming. It seems like every time I get down notes and I come up with a pretty good idea, I come up with one question that just kind of throws me, and nothing makes sense. And one of these days I'm just going to go ahead and do it, and we're probably going to have to make a series of it where there's multiple videos and we talk about the different possibilities, because without us having the whole story, there's no real way to... I mean, we could make good guesses, but there's not a real way to sit down and start from point A to point B and figure out who it is that's dreaming. So maybe we'll do a couple different videos and talk about all the different possibilities, but again, that's for another time. And then next up we got conscious fulfilling, the darkness revealing. All faults and insecurities are shining like the sun. Eyes are deceiving, your mind will stop breathing. All that you are made of will now rightly become mine. So again, obviously we see hints at her singing to the bodies of these dead men as she fills them with consciousness and turns them into these evil tools of destruction, the darkness revealing. And it's all those faults and insecurities that she can see. She can see those earthly wants and pleasures that tie us and prevent us from moving on past the ether and into the afterlife. And that's what she latches onto and she grabs a hold of, and that's what's giving her power and allows her to raise these bodies back from the dead. Eyes are deceiving, your mind will stop breathing. So your mind no longer exists. You die, because like she said before, breathing for living. But your mind's going to stop breathing. So your mind is no longer living. All that you are made of will now rightly become mine. So now the bodies are hers. She controls you completely, having latched onto your faults and insecurities and raising you from the dead as her will. You know it, you feel it, I know when you're sleeping, yada yada, we go on. Even death can't stop that feeling, and I know you won't give up and die. So even through death, she's able to get in there. Oh, I missed a part. I love it when you're weeping. Even death can't stop this feeling. So she feeds off of this evil and this destruction, she feeds off of your sadness. And so that's what gives her the ability to control you. And even through death, the feeling persists. She's able to latch on and continue to keep control of your body even though you're dead. And then, of course, now she's going to start singing them to her father, either Father God the Father or actually Maxis, which does make a lot of sense. She goes, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" So she could think that it was partially her father's fault that she got stuck in the teleporter. My life is gone. Obviously, she's dead now. Father, know how long it's taken me. I live again. So now she's come back as the mind of the zombie. She's alive still, but not in the life she once knew. And of course, if we talk about her father and everything, we look back at the beginning of the song, "Life is still spinning, you're in my beginning." And if we remember, when she was thrown into the teleporter with Maxis, he was sent into the mainframe of the computer on the Eagle's Nest up in Moon. So he no longer exists as a person. But her body was sent up into the pyramid, or sent up to the moon, and she went into the pyramid. So his end is now her beginning. So it's possible she's been sort of singing to him the whole time as well. Again, it's music, so it's very metaphorical. She can sing to a lot of people all at once, and it makes a lot of sense. And now we're going to hear some of the lyrics repeated a couple times. We have the chorus going, yada yada yada. We all know how songs work, and that's pretty much it for the song. Now I do have one more thing to say about what I feel part of the song is about, but we'll get to that in just a second. As you can see here, we are now on the other side of the map, and we're looking through at that radio through the window. Now we're in the room that's directly above the mule kick room, which was added later on. So if you haven't played it since Mule Kick was added, it is the room with the Thompson in it, which is on the quick revive side once you get upstairs. But you run over here onto the balcony and you look through this window, and there's the radio. Like I said before, it does work just like the Knocked On Totem one, where you shoot it in this case because you can't get close enough to knife it. But it does play pieces of sound clips from the campaign mode, different songs or melodies, I guess you should call them, when you hit it. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for the sound bites. Like I said, I do have one more thing to say, so we're going to get right to the song and then we'll wrap things up. How's that sound? So the last thing I wanted to talk about, and of course this really goes into the first verse, it goes back to the first verse of the song. The last line she says, "And destiny is proving to be absent from my life." And sure, this is using a little bit of hindsight, I guess you could say, since we've been able to play through all of the maps, including Moon. So we kind of know what's up with Sam, what's going on with her. But it seems to me like she's saying that she no longer has control at this point in time, which of course in Verruckt, this is right after she was killed. So this is at the very beginning of her life with mind control, or very close to the beginning. So it could be that at that point, once she enters the pyramid, she no longer has control. Which of course can only mean one thing: whatever it is that's inside of her is what truly has control. So instead of the pyramid being the gateway to another dimension or to a planet and life far off in the cosmos. Instead of the pyramid being the gateway, what if it's Sam's body or Sam's mind? So these aliens or this demon or this entity, whatever it is reaching through the cosmos and reaching through dimensions in order to enter our world and use the zombies to take over or something like that. And of course, Sam is their tool. Sam is the doorway between the two worlds. So this definitely hints at the idea of there being something much bigger and larger than we've had to tango with yet. Obviously much bigger than Richthofen, bigger than Sam, bigger than the zombies. But of course we won't know until the new game comes out. So that definitely sounds exciting. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and hopefully you liked a lot of the ideas. But of course, as always, go ahead and leave the comments below. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's hear what you guys think. Maybe I missed something. Maybe something I said sort of sparked an idea in your head. But go ahead, yeah, leave some comments below. Of course, don't forget to like the video. And if you're not subscribed yet, I don't know what you're doing, but you should definitely subscribe now. But anyway, until next time, guys, peace out.